Is the Green New Deal a good investment? No, of course it's not. I mean, but I do want to make a serious video here, and this is not just to mock the Green New Deal. I was originally going to make a video about this, but then when the proposal came out, it was so ridiculous and everybody jumped on it. I kind of felt like there wasn't really a point. But as time has gone on, there's a point that I really want to make that I just don't feel is being made out there. And so I figured I'd make the video. And that's just taking it from the perspective of an investor. You got to realize that what is being proposed here is basically they want to increase taxes on the rich, which means that rich people are going to have to sell investments. They're going to have to sell stocks. And then the government is going to take that money and then they're going to invest that money in clean energy, essentially. So what the people that are proposing the Green New Deal are basically saying is that the market isn't investing in this thing, and so the government needs to do it for them. Well, is it really a good investment? Well, let's look at the chart. So what I have here is I have a bunch of ETFs and the S&P 500. So this top line right here, it's kind of a little multicolored. This is the S&P 500. And then here I have TAN, which is a solar ETF, iClean and PBW, which are just general clean energy ETFs, FAN, which is a solar ETF, and NLR, which is a nuclear energy ETF. Now, I find this really interesting because I've been thinking about what I want my next stocks to be, and I've been thinking very seriously about going into the nuclear space. So if you guys have any ideas about companies, let me know. But it's interesting that at least on this particular time frame, it kind of depends on where I start things here. But on this time frame, nuclear power is actually doing the best out of all of these, which is ironic because, the Green New Deal doesn't really say anything about nuclear power, and they've kind of been trashing nuclear power and don't like it. But like I said, that changes if you change the time frame a little bit. Here this wind ETF actually has been outperforming a little bit more, but they're all significantly below what the S&P 500 is. So why is that? If this technology is so great and important, why aren't people investing in it? Well, I've been doing some research, and as many of you probably already know this, but there's a lot of problems with clean energy. So the sun doesn't shine all the time, the wind doesn't blow all the time, and sometimes we're getting that energy when we don't need it, and we don't really have any way to store it. And so it's really not helping a whole lot with our current technology. And then it's not a very dense energy source. So in order to generate enough wind or enough solar to power the solar grid, you have to use a ton of land, which actually ends up in many cases having worse ecological impacts than some of the more traditional fossil fuel resources that we've been using. With nuclear power, it solves a lot of those problems, but then there's a lot of regulatory hurdles for it, and people are still kind of afraid of nuclear power, although I think that that's unnecessary. But the basic gist of it is that right now, until that situation changes, these aren't really very good investments. And, of course, sometimes something can be underbought, and if you really believe in clean energy, then you should buy it. I mean, really think about this for a second, guys. And this is really directed more towards, Miss Alexandria Ocasio Cortez herself, who wrote the Green New Deal. Here's my challenge to you. If you really think that the world is going to end in 15 years or whatever it is, and I'm not saying that it is or it isn't, I'm pretty agnostic on that particular point. But if the world is going to end in 15 or 10 years or whatever it is, that is the greatest money-making opportunity of our lifetime. Folks, saving the world is big business. It really is. And here you have the perfect opportunity to buy it. So if you really think that this technology is the future, take some of your money. I know AOC that you got some money, you've got a nice new job, you have really nice offices, I think you can afford to buy some stocks. Go and invest your own money into the companies that you feel have the best technology, the best ideas, the best teams, etc., etc., etc. But use your own money. Don't use my money. I want to use my money to invest in nuclear power. And, you know, my neighbor down the street, he can go and invest in something else if he wants. That's the way that the market works. And then the people that made the wise investments, the people that did their research and do well, you know, will make money, and then they can use that money to further make good, sound investments in other things. All right. But don't take my money to do it. This whole thing that like we have to take somebody else's money in order to invest in something, that's a giant red flag that this investment is a really, really bad idea. And so that is my whole spill about the Green New Deal. Anyways, let me know what you think in the comments. If you guys know of any individual companies that you think are worth investing in this space, please let me know in the comments. I would love to research all of these. And of course, I stream every morning, so I will see you then. And in the meantime, stay profitable, friends.